Okay, I have two lenses in front of me. I have my own Mamiya Sekor C 127 millimeter. It's got a lens hood on it right now. And I have your 65 millimeter right here. Both lenses currently are not cocked. We can tell that by the position of the pins here. When this is cocked, these pins will be located up at the green index right there. As you can see, I can see straight through this lens. If I stop down, we see that the aperture blades are indeed functioning correctly. Great. I'll leave it open just for sake of clarity here. I'm also going to set the shutter speed at half a second. I'll do the same on my own lens here. Half a second. I've also got this lens wide open, but there's a distinct difference here. This lens is not cocked, as we can see from the position of the pins, and yet we cannot see through this lens. That's because when the lens is not cocked, the shutter blades should be entirely closed. When we cock this lens, like so, the shutter blades open, and now we can see our aperture blades only by using the preview lever located over here. So there are my aperture blades. Again, this is my personal lens. We can see that the aperture blades are working. Now, when we fire this lens, and this is the important part, we're going to release it with this pin right here to fire our lens. And we see again that the shutter blades stop all the way down. And now we're going to get our half-second shutter. That was 1/2 second. I will attempt to cock this lens. And at no point in this process are we going to see our shutter blades close. Right now, they should be closed, and they are not. They should be closed right now, and they are not. We still see all the way through this lens. The timer seems to work. I'll do the same thing again, stopping down a little bit so we can actually see the aperture blades at work, but it's not going to make a difference. When we cock this, we're not going to see any shutter blades in operation here. See, right now we should see shutter blades, and we're not seeing shutter blades. So that was the timer that you just heard for 1/2 second once again. I'm going to mount this on my camera, and I can demonstrate it in a different way. Okay, so once again, I have my 127 mounted on the RB67. I'm using mirror up so that we can clearly see how the shutter blades are supposed to function. We can see that right now our shutter blades are completely closed, as is right. I'm going to go ahead and cock the shutter. We'll see that the light baffle and the mirror have lowered down. That's correct. Now when I fire the shutter, all that's going to happen is these are going to open up. There we go. I fired the shutter, and we can clearly see inside that the shutter blades are still closed. When I fire using this cable, we're going to see a 1/2 second exposure. We will see straight through the lens. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to cut the video, and I will mount the 65 millimeter. Okay, so now I've got the 65 millimeter mounted on the RB67. I've got it tuned to mirror up. I've got my cable release attached, and right now the shutter is not cocked. That's a problem. We're not seeing any shutter blades. We should not be seeing through the camera right now. I will go ahead and cock the camera. So that just lowered the light baffle in the mirror. I will fire, and it will raise up the light baffle in the mirror. And again, when I fire, just like on the 127, we should not be seeing any light through this camera. That's because these shutter blades should be closed on this lens. But as you see, we can see straight through this this lens. I've got the timer set to half a second, shutter set to half a second. I will go ahead and release this shutter through the cable, but it's not going to make a difference because it's already open. This lens right now is already exposing the film that would be mounted on the back of the camera. And as we see, we can hear the shutter fire, but there is no actual shutter going on. There are no shutter blades. Once again, I'm gonna raise up the light baffle. Again, I'm in mirror up. Light baffle and mirror go up, and we can already see through the camera. Fire the shutter. No change. There are no shutter blades operating in this lens. Again, that is the 65mm. That is defective.